let go. I couldn't turn the pedals over. Guess who showed up? The bully inside my head. And he said, I told you you're not good enough. You don't deserve to be here. You're not a winner. You're not a champion. You're a loser. Quit. Go home. And in life, when we listen to that bully inside of our head, we abandon the course. I heard another voice on that day. It was quiet. And it said, James, bro, you've got one good leg. It's just 12 more miles to bike. It's only a marathon to run. Let's go. And I was like, dude's a genius. I've got options. That other voice was my intuition. We have forgotten how to dream, and we've stopped listening to our intuition because we're so busy listening to the coaches, the mentors, and individuals on social media that believe they're the experts. I challenge you to get back to dreaming. Get back to listening to your intuition. Allow that to be your compass and your guidance. I won that conversation with the bully inside my head. I got back on my bike. I turned the pedals over one leg at a time. I got to Tyrell. He was so excited he realized I was winning the race. I grabbed my cowboy hat and I started to run. I yelled back at him, I may need medical help. But I was putting one foot in front of the other. I fight. I make it to mile 17, but at mile 17, every single muscle in my body contracts at the same time. I go stiff like a board, hit the ground. Tyrell sees me go down, he sprints over to me, he's on the phone, he's like, James, don't worry about a thing. I've got great news. I'm thinking to myself, great news, I'm dying, medical's on its way. He says, no, it's your wife. She's on the phone, she wants to talk to you. I panic, I don't want to talk to Sunny, she's going to tell me to get up. I can't. I mustered up the courage to look Tyrell in the face and I said, hey, tell her no thank you. Yeah, that didn't go very well. He comes back moments later, still on the phone, he says, James, I'm so sorry, it's not medical, it's not your wife, it's your daughter. She wants to talk to you. My daughter's name is Lucy, she was 9 years old, and she and I had a quick conversation. She said, Dad, you told me we were going to do 30 Ironmans this year. You said we were going to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. Is there any way, can you get up? Can you walk? Just finish. And I said, sweetheart, no, I can't. And then she says, okay, Dad, can you crawl? Will you crawl and finish? And now through my intense tears, I said, sweetheart, no, I can't. And then she says, okay, Daddy, will you cartwheel? Yeah, she said, will you cartwheel 9 miles and finish the race today? She had so much belief and conviction in her body, she thought I could cartwheel those 9 miles. My question is where's the belief and conviction on the journey you're on today? Are you looking for reasons and options to quit? She couldn't see the option to quit. It wasn't on the table. She hadn't learned yet that wasn't even an option. I told her I love her. I said, Tyra, help me up. We've got work to do. And we started to move through the night. We went from first place to last place. Hours passed. And I got to the moment where I could see it. The finish line was right there. And I remembered the conversation I had with my daughter. And I cartwheeled one time. But from that moment on, I too was filled with that same belief, that same conviction. We went on to win 2 races, placed second 5 times, smashing the Guinness World Record, not for the record, but to set a new standard for other people to chase. Now I want to introduce you guys to a friend of mine, his name's Dayton. This kid's super cool. He was born with a condition that's called cerebral palsy. I saw his story on YouTube. He was being pulled by his young friend through a mini triathlon. I found his mother's number. I called her up. I said, man, tell me, why does Dayton look so happy when he's doing a triathlon? And she said, oh my gosh, when he feels the wind in his face, it makes him feel alive. I said, is there any way, could we do an Ironman together? Does he want to be part of this world record? And so we set it up. I got to meet Dayton for the very first time. Lake Havasu, Arizona, raced 27 of 30 in that year. Now, trust me, I was terrified. I've never pulled anybody in a race before. And his dad walks up and he throws down this $20 yellow boat from Walmart. And he says, this is what we're going to use to pull my boy. And in my head, I'm like, we're going to kill your kid today. You know? And then his dad puts his arm around me and he says, I don't want you to worry about a thing, but Dayton might have a seizure. If he has a seizure, just keep swimming, and the gun goes off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what we're doing. So I grab the rope, I tie it around my waist, I'm swimming as hard as I can. I'm looking back, is Dayton okay? What is he doing? Is he having a seizure? Every time I looked back, I could see him. His eyes were closed. I'm like, son of a gun, he's just taking a nap. He's totally fine, but man, I was so worried about that seizure that it never happened. Do you guys know that 97% of everything we worry about never happens? Yeah, we sit in that space, and this is something we're all guilty of, and it's ruining your life and your progression. We get some information, or somebody says something to us, and then we immediately go to the future and we start creating the worst case scenario. And then we play that game of he said this and they said this, and when they say this, I'm going to do this. And then we start to spiral and isolate ourselves, turn off all the lights, and sit in darkness and isolation. It's the worst possible thing you can do. It's called catastrophizing. And if you take one thing with you today, it's this. When that's happening to you, I just want you to pause, man. I want you to pause. I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to take out a piece of paper. And I want you to start writing down everything you're worried about, everything you're concerned about, everything that you're scared about. And then I want you to take another deep breath. And then I want you to revisit that list, and you'll start crossing out everything you can't control. I promise you, my friends, you're going to be left with one thing, and one thing only. That's where you put your focus. That's where you put your attention. That's how you're going to progress and move forward. We got out of the water, middle of the pack. He never had that seizure. I didn't even need to put a thought to it. I needed to be prepared, but I didn't need to worry about it. We got out of the water, middle of the pack. His dad greeted us, special cart for Dayton. We put him in the cart. I started biking. We're going 27 miles an hour. When I look back, what do you think I saw? Biggest smile you've ever seen in your life. And I say, yes, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. At mile 30, Dayton's cart breaks. Where it was connected to my bike, it slipped and his cart starts to shake. I go from 27 miles an hour down to 4, and I'm giving it everything I've got. My wife grew concerned. She realized we were going to make the time cut off because we were taking too long. She got on her bike and came out to find us. When she found us, we were devastated. We knew we were going to run out of time. I just wanted to have this young man hear the words, "You are an Iron Man." And it wasn't going to happen. And then in that moment, Sunny reaches out her hand in kindness and puts it on the back of David's cart. As soon as she touched the cart, it took away that shake. My speed doubled, my cadence picked up. I looked back at Sunny Joe. I said, "Sweetheart, how long can you leave your hand there?" She says, "If it's helping, man, as long as you need." I said, "Good, we need you for the next 6 hours." And she says, "Whatever it takes, I'm here for you guys." And for hours, we pushed and pulled Dayton up and down the hills of Lake Havasu. And then the moment happened where it went dark. When the race director came out, he stops us and he says, "It's no longer safe to continue. I'm so sorry." And then in that moment, a police officer came rushing up. He rolled down his window, he turned on all of his lights and said, "Boys, follow me. I'm going to give you your chance to run the marathon." He said, "Follow the light." Now I want to share with you guys a very emotional day that I got to spend with Dayton.
There are many limits in life, but the only limit to achieving greatness is telling yourself no. Surface, I was born David, but in reality, he was born me. He was the mind, I was the body, and together we were a machine. It became the hardest ride of my life. Every pedal stroke was like climbing a mountain. I kept doing the math over and over in my head. We weren't going to make it. But I kept telling myself, Dayton can't ride a bike. And I get to ride my bike today. I get to ride my bike. I looked back and I realized he wasn't going to cross the finish line unless I took that next step. Simply push the limits hard. Dayton can't run, and I get to run tonight. Greatness isn't measured in hours, minutes, or seconds. It's measured in your ability to kick your limits to the curb and achieve what is possible.
Thank you. Dayton can't ride a bike. I get to ride my bike today. Dayton can't run. And I get to run tonight. I kept saying that over and over in my head with appreciation. That finish line happened over a decade ago, but it's changed my life ever since. Every single morning when I wake up, I put my hand over my heart, I take a deep breath of fresh air, and I express insane amounts of gratitude. And when my feet hit the ground, I say the words, I get to do it one more time today. And I realize that nothing great is ever accomplished on our own. Man, Dayton and I, we needed each other. We needed Sunny to come out and reach out her hand, a police officer to light our way. That was Dayton's mother who ran every step of the marathon with us, and it was my two oldest girls that ran us into the finish line. It took every single one of us to put that medal around Dayton's neck, and I am so honored and privileged to have spent that day with him. It's changed my life. And that story has gone on to change so many people's lives around the world. The challenge to express gratitude, to appreciate the moments that we have. And I fully understand that we're all dealing with things at different times in our lives, the different challenges that we all experience. We all just want to wake up every single day and feel like we're enough and feel like we're contributing and believe in ourselves. You just can't see the next challenge until you're ready for it. It's why it's so important to keep showing up, to keep having experiences. Every failure I've ever had has turned into a learning experience. We learned so much from that journey. We believed that more was possible. We made the announcement, 50 Ironmans, 50 days, 50 states. They said it's impossible, can't be done. I sat down with some doctors. I said, what do you think? They said, we think you're going to die. And so I stopped talking to doctors. I started to surround myself with people. I started to surround myself with people that had the same belief system, mindset that I had. I started to assemble my team. Well, my team ended up being my 5 young children, my wife, Sunny, and 2 best friends that we now call the Wingmen, and we started on this journey. We started in Hawaii, did an Ironman, flew to Alaska, did an Ironman, flew to Washington, did an Ironman, all piled into a motorhome and started to navigate the lower 48. Ironman every single day, driving to the next state at night. Averaged 4 hours of sleep a night for 7 consecutive weeks. I had to consume 12,000 calories a day to fuel the effort. Every single day was met with chaos, confusion, new weather, new environment, new issues, new problems. But persistence and resilience only come from having been given a chance to work through difficult problems. If you are dealing with something right now in your life, be it professional, parenting, whatever it is, man, I dare say congratulations. Rock bottom is the best place I've ever been. I've hit it twice in my life in an extreme nature. I look back at those moments and I'm so grateful because this journey didn't get any easier. Your lives, this business, it's not going to get any easier. My goodness, you just get stronger. You become more resilient. And when you're doing something so spectacular that nobody can figure out how you're doing it, media shows up and they want to talk to you. I got really good at doing these interviews. It was day 21 in Florida. I had just crushed a brilliant interview with my wife. As I was heading into the swim, she stops me. And she said these words. She said, James, I need you to sound more intelligent on camera. I was like, okay, all right, I thought I was doing a great job, maybe not. And I remembered this moment. And I promise you, moments like this in relationships and business and our teams will splinter a campaign, will splinter the chemistry between a teamwork. I went and I found the video footage of this moment. I want to share that with you guys.
Good morning, Christina. We're with James Lawrence. He is the Iron Cowboy. He's from Utah, and he's on Pensacola Beach to do one of his 50 Ironmans. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's so good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
And this is your 21st one, right?
Yeah, 21st of 50.
And how has it been so far?
I'm tired.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're doing a great job, and it's all for a great cause, right?
I want to introduce you guys to Sunny Joe. Mama! Oh my goodness, she's not wrong. And I think, gentlemen, if you've been married for 25 years, she's never wrong. I realized in that moment I was being so filled with anxiety and depression and confusion and fatigue, but the biggest thing I realized is I was trying to control every aspect of the campaign. I was trying to control every member of the team. And as soon as I let go of that pressure, guess what? Magic happened. Everybody else around me started to rise up and we started to gain momentum. We started to fly through. I want to share with you guys a message that I learned, that it's a reaction to adversity, not diversity itself that determines how your lifestyle will develop. I'm going to get some hate, a little bit of pushback, but you get to choose how you react to the things that people say to you. You get to choose how you react to the things that are happening to you. We can't always control what's happening to us, but we do get to choose how we react to it. And I promise you, if you can figure out how to do that intelligently, your life will be very different. It will be incredibly beneficial to learn this skill set. Now, I've got another clip from the documentary that's on Amazon Prime. It showcases one. Wingman number one, Casey, gets to choose how he reacts to something I say to him. Imagine in work, in life, if the individual reacted like this, how much better the world would be. And then two, you get a front row seat. A front row seat to the conversation I'm having with the bully inside my head. In this moment, I'm deciding whether I'm going to allow fear or my dreams to dictate my next move.
James is a real morning person, and so then you put him in a motorhome or in a van with really crappy sleep, only granting 4 hours, coming up on Ironman every day, and then you have to be the person to wake him up. It was traumatizing.
You want a pillow? No. Constructive criticism. That's what it is. Constructive criticism. I should have never made. James has been incredibly depressed. I could tell that he was desperate in reaching out for me to tell him, you can do this, you're going to be okay. There's a finish line to all of this. You just got to get through today. It wasn't uncomfortable. It wasn't as difficult. He was suffering.
Sunny's not an alcoholic, that was juice. But you can't hear it because it's in my head, but it was super loud, it was super violent. Again, it was, you're not good enough, you don't deserve to be here, you can't do this, the stress you're putting on, the impact you're not having, all of the things we tell ourselves in the peak of emotion and adversity. In that moment right there, I was negotiating with myself the bare minimum I could manage to continue forward. Nobody can convince me in their darkest moment you can't rise up and be perfect for 1 second. Just 1 second. And then you have to have the skill, the ability to stack 1 second at a time until you come out of that moment and then you gain momentum. I promise if every single one of you right now look at your history, there was moments you did not believe you would make it through. And guess what? You're here today. And because of that moment, you're stronger than you've ever been. Those moments in our lives are absolute gifts. We can't let fear dictate how we proceed. Did you know that the physical reaction to fear and excitement is exactly the same? It's how we choose to frame it in our minds. I didn't want fear to dictate how I was going to show up in my journey. But I did wake up scared every single day. But to grow, to adapt, and to evolve, we need to become uncomfortable intentionally. Only then will you meet the best version of yourselves. You hear people say that you have to choose hard. I'm here to tell you that, yes, you absolutely have to choose hard, because if you don't, hard will choose you later in life. It's going to be hard either way, and I hope that you make the choice to make it hard intentionally now so that you